we live on the verge of a very fragile and very important habitat. And right now there's an ivy infestation, English ivy infestation running up the canyon. A healthy habitat is one that won't burn like what we saw the other night. We're working really hard on habitat management on the mountain and the wildlands and the acres to try to strike the right balance between a natural healthy habitat with native plants and native animals and people's lives and well-being. As a matter of fact, we were scheduled Sunday morning for training with weed whackers, but it was canceled because of the high fire hazard. And so when you do plant around your yard, your defensible space, you really do need to be very cognizant about not planting things that are invasive, that will further degrade the habitat and cause the kind of that area has been severely impacted over the years by Scotch broom, scabiosa. Most of the scabiosa came from Mrs. Edelman's yard when we were little kids, and we tracked it all over the mountain. And, you know, this is an example also. Right now, the habitat where the fire has happened is extremely fragile, and it's extremely interesting. And over the next 2 years, there's going to be monitoring programs, you know, hopefully maybe some CDF training programs on the mountain to encourage certain burns. I know that's a tough thing, but if this area had been taken care of and burned on a regular basis, we would not have seen the fuel load that took out 800-year-old trees that should not have burned. And so everyone needs to be very cognizant of that. We need more volunteers to work on the mountain. If you go up and you're curious to go look, but stay on the path. Do not step off the path. There are roots under there that may still be harboring larvae of butterflies. It's very fragile. We're going to have problems with landslides and rain. We pray for the first rains to be gentle. It's an amazing thing that's happened. It's scary, and it's an opportunity on the mountain to see how we can better manage the habitat around Brisbane so that we can live in harmony with the mountain. I think that's very important.
Thank you.
Has everyone signed in?
With reference to people who have animals, particularly cats, the fastest way to get a cat safe and out of your house is not to look for your kennel, because that always takes time, especially if you have it downstairs and you're upstairs. Take the pillowcase off your pillow and throw the cat in and tie it if you can. At the very least, you carry it out this way. And that's the safest way to get a cat out of your house. And
Cat in a bag. What's the other thing? Puppet on? What's cat in a hat? Puppet in a bag. That's a good idea, though. It's very practical. It would have fun. Any other comments, questions? Lee Panda.
This is the first time we've actually had a chance to do an emergency, an evacuation center, and I think we realize that we need to practice on that. One thing that I think would really go a long ways to helping people that do evacuate is keep them informed. Down at the park, there just didn't seem to be much information, and people were looking up at the ridge there and seeing that glow from the backfire growing and worrying. Just somebody posted down there with information from the command center to let them know what's going on.
That's a good point. I think that's an after-action item we've already taken on. And really, one of the things we were trying to do is, with our preference, we would have posted probably a public information officer there and at the Mission Blue Center. We really were trying to get people to the Mission Blue Center. One of the challenges, of course, we have faced with evacuees, and one of the citizens brought it up earlier, is that, you know, is there a place they can call in just to tell us they're right? Because when we go through and say to evacuate, and we tell them here's a place to go, not everybody goes there, right? Because some people are thinking, hey man, I make it out of the house all night. I can go to the Rats and get my hotel room now. I'm sleeping in a warm bed and they have a bar, right? I can watch this from the comfort of a bar on digital TV, right? Okay, that's one response. Right, well, that's what we went to. That's what we went to get the final all clear notice, and then we realized those people probably shouldn't be driving back anyway. So I'm teasing. I'm making light. But that was the only bar open after the I don't know, we get out at about 3, right? I mean, there wasn't anything open at 3 a.m. by the time the radios went dead. Some people go to homes, right? They'll go to families, they'll go to relatives. Some people go to other places, other friends in the city. Some people come down to the park, and we just don't have any real way to gather you all up. It really is like, you know, herding cats. So
Lee, that's a great point, and every incident that I can think of, Brennan will back me up on it. Lack of information, people want a ton of it, and getting people to those locations. We try and do it, and as we get more people arriving, the weekend's a little tougher. We don't have as many people working on the weekend that we do during the week. But one of the points that we identified in our own discussion about this was getting people to that location to talk to them, because as long as they know what's going on, it makes a big difference. And in incidents where we have done that, it alleviates what you're talking about. In instances that we haven't, then we end up with this lack of information. And we certainly will put that on our radar screen. And what happens is that a person like Mark, who's part of our Fire Prevention Bureau, they also dovetail as information officers. And what we got bombarded with was probably 15 different news agencies that were coming into town, and we got hung up with talking to them. But we also need to be talking with the community, and we're going to do our best to make that happen next time. Okay.
All right. My boss had his hand up first. I'm going to let you go anyway. I'm going to be bold and let you go, Brendan. It's maybe the last move I make today. Who knows?
I'm just concerned, you know, on the information point that you just made, I mean, I think that's something we really recognize that we need to make some improvements on. A couple things, Randy's already spoke to the San Mateo County Alert Roll System. It's on our blog where you can sign up for that. I encourage everybody in the room, tell your friends, sign up for that. It's great instant information. The other thing that we're looking at doing is going with real-time information on our blog. Now that means you're going to have access to the computer during an event, but that will hopefully be able to give you information, that official information as it's happening.
Okay, Brendan.
One other thing, when we're talking along the lines of evacuation, I heard a few members of the audience talk about how, you know, you wanted to stay and defend your homes, and we appreciate that and we respect that. All I can tell you is the last 23 years of my career, I've been in Southern California working in San Diego. And I've been the incident commander of a couple of those major fires that were major life loss fires as well as extremely destructive. And what I found in my own jurisdiction is that the people that waited to the very end did not evacuate when the evacuate signal came out. The ones that wanted to stay and fight for their house, and when things got bad, that's when they tried to leave. We had 12 civilian fatalities on my last major fire for people that decided to leave at the last minute, an hour after they were told to evacuate. We certainly don't want to see that happen in your community. So please, we understand property is important to everybody. Property can be replaced. You can't be replaced. Your family can't be replaced. So it's really important to heed that evacuation warning when it's given, and to have a plan, to act appropriately, to have defensible space around your property, to do the things that will help the fire department to be able to do their job, because we quite simply cannot put an engine at every house. The house that has defensible space is the house that we will be able to protect. The house that doesn't will be the one that unfortunately will most likely be lost in the incident. But protect yourself first, protect your family, have a plan, and get yourself out of there. And it'll save your life as well as the lives of the firefighters that are trying to help you.
Just to give you it's sort of humorous now, but I was up on